Hey everyone, this is Kimmy. I am Mama on a Mission and I am going to do a what sold video for you guys today. If you watched one of my last videos, I had talked about how the summer slowdown in sales it's hit me. It's got me. If you're new here, I'm a 14-year online reseller. I think maybe 15 years at this point. I have to double check on the exact date that I opened my eBay account, if you can even find that information. But on my channel, I do what sold videos. I literally show what items are selling for me. I throw in some of the best and also sometimes some of the worst sales. In this video, I've done both. Now, typically, I have been doing videos that were a mix. They were 5-day and 2-day. So I was breaking up 7 days or 1 week into two different time frames, which honestly I do really like. However, sometimes I do get behind. I'm just not good at my YouTube job, you guys. So occasionally I've been doing like broader time frames. I just did a monthly recap, which was great. You should also go back and look at that. My month of May, I did over $5,000 in sales as a part-time online reseller. I usually say I devote about 20 to 25 hours to my online reselling business, and I did $5,000 in sales for May, so that was fantastic. I don't think June is gonna do that. In that other video I was talking about where the title says like what is happening, because in that video I talk about the summer slowdown, which for me, just personally, has always been that June and July are historically some of my slower months, and also January. So I always say the 3 J's: January, June, and July. And that seems to be still happening and still accurate for me. And of course, like if June is your best month, hey, if I was selling like mostly swimwear and I don't know, things that people take to go on vacation or for summer or things like that, maybe it would be a different story for me. But that's just how it goes for me. Doesn't mean it matches you. I'm just sharing my experience. So today I am going to do the 2-day and the 5-day combined because the sales are a little bit slower, and that's okay. So let's get right to the numbers. So first we'll do the 2 days. This is basically like the first week of June. So the 2 days, the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. It was, this is not a good one. I keep all my numbers. I'm old school. I write things down on little pieces of paper. I also have data in the computer as well, but I do like writing things down. I don't know why. Old school. Old lady here. So this this weekend sale video is one of my worst in months, according to my scratch of paper here. So that's not great. But so for the weekend, I did $139.83 on eBay, only $61 on Poshmark, and nothing on Depop. So my total for the weekend was $200.83. And that is not very good for me. However, it's not nothing. Is that proper grammar? I don't think so. It's not terrible. It's not $0, okay? And it was 11 sales. Usually Monday mornings, I'm shipping out anywhere between 15 and 25 orders from the weekend, and I do ship on Friday, anything that's hanging there. So that's not great for me. $200.83. And then for the 5-day, the main part of the week, Monday through Friday, it was okay. I did on eBay $530.27 for 5 days. Poshmark was terrible. Hello, Poshmark, are you on? Anybody home? Poshmark was terrible. It was $44, and maybe that's because I got in trouble. Another video, I don't know how I'm remembering all these videos. My brain seems to be working good today. That was another video I did. I got in trouble, and I think the title says, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I got one of those warnings from Poshmark, and maybe that's why some of these sales are terrible. I only sold $44, only had 2 sales on Poshmark in 5 days. That's horrendous for me. Not great. And maybe that's why. My Poshmark didn't get completely shut down or anything. I got one of those warnings, and you better not do this again, or we are going to shut you down. And I haven't had anything since. So fingers crossed. I'm not sure. But for 7 days, I only sold $100 on Poshmark. That's terrible. That's terrible for me. Anyways, and I did have one sale on Depop. So my total 5-day, Monday through Friday amount was $611.27. These aren't my best numbers. This does include a couple $0 days on, obviously, on one or the other platforms. So that's not great. However, I still have sales. So my total, here's my total for 7 days. Reselling part-time online, $812.10. And it was a total of 31 items shipped out. So not great for me personally, historically, what I've been doing, but it's still okay. I try to stay as positive as possible. I mean, I knew that when we get to the end of the school year and into early summer, when all the things are happening, school's getting out, graduations are happening, people are going on trips or planning trips, or everybody's life can kind of change during those, even if you don't have kids or anything. Like if you're in Wisconsin and all of a sudden the weather warms up, like you get your motorcycle out, you get your boat out. We only have like 3 months to do that, you guys. So here in Wisconsin, so when the weather changes and whatever your hobby is, even just going out walking, hiking, camping, you can finally do that May, June, July. And so that's when a lot of us in the northern states and, the Midwest, we start to do things. And so we forget, or just we don't prioritize buying things online. And I think that's perfect. I feel like that's normal and has always been the case for my business. So I knew it was coming. It's not great, but it's okay. So you guys check in and let me know how you're doing. How are your sales? Early June. Is this matching anything for you? Always feel free to chime in and check in. I'm always curious how you are doing. I had a couple comments on one of my videos on that What's Happening video, which discusses my slowdown, that were like, oh, I've never been better. Hey, good for you. I'm happy for you. I really am. I'm glad things are working the way they should be for you, or even better. Someone said, oh, my sales have picked up. Fantastic. And that's great. At some point, hopefully I'll be saying the same thing, and it'll just be that roller coaster I'm always talking about on this channel. So I will screen share some of the best and the worst sales. If you are new to my channel, though, I do have a wide range of items that I sell. And I feel like as a clothing and shoes, primarily clothing and shoes reseller, I do provide some information that could be helpful. You guys always can chime in with questions or your input. I mean, you're more than welcome to disagree with anything I have to say. I'm nobody special. I'm just trying to share my reselling journey on here. But my point is, it could be brand, it could be a style, it could be like a material based or material in season. So there's a lot of things that I share on here after so many years. I personally have a wide range of things that I sell, and that doesn't have to be your model, of course, but it's just kind of what I do. I sell men's, I sell women's, I sell plus size, I sell regulars, I sell dresses. So I'll screen share what I have to show you on what has sold. $812.10 in 7 days. That's okay. It's not terrible. I'll take it. I'm thankful for every sale. All right, here we go. This is the portion of the video where I show you all exactly what is selling for me in my shop. And this is an excellent sale. I was in love with this piece. It is new with tags vintage dead stock. Vintage dead stock is when an item obviously is no longer produced but still has the tag on it like it was brand new. Vintage jean denim button down maxi length dress. I put in the keyword cowgirl, and this is definitely cottagecore prairie to me, but it was a full button down maxi length dress, denim jean. Look at this tag. Oh my gosh. I did not pick it up for the brand. I picked it up because it was vintage, because of the style, maxi length, button down, had those slouchy pockets. This almost gives me like House on the Prairie vibes. This came from a church sale. I did the haul maybe about 2 months ago. It was an awesome haul. I got this for $1 and it sold for $43.29. Oh my gosh, look at this. Made in the USA, or it was made in the Republic of India. However, it definitely is vintage. I'm guessing this was about 90s. So I would definitely keep an eye out for vintage style dresses. Maxi length, full button down is great. Longer sleeves is great. As I usually say in my videos, stack all those reasons to pick your items up. And this had a lot of stackable features and it sold pretty quickly. I mean, I did that whole video maybe 2 months ago. So an excellent flip there. Now this is a brand to keep an eye out for. It's Pomander Place by Tuckernuck. Here's a tag for you, Pomander Place. It is a size extra large navy and white iCat long sleeve dress. I was able to find the stock here. This is nautical, it's beachy, but it also is like feminine, very cute cut. It did have the long sleeves. It was a size extra large, and it did have those tiers, those layered tiers in the dress. So all those reasons, but especially the brand. You want to keep an eye out for this brand. It's selling really well for me. I think I've only found it like 5 times at this point. I found this at a regular thrift store for $6.99 and it sold for $64. I believe it was 2 weeks. This sold very quickly. Definitely a brand you want to keep an eye out for. And of course, we're in dress season. So that's usually like early spring through summer when people are going on trips, vacations, date nights, which could be all year, but I mean like you're going out with lunch dates like in spring and summer, and of course weddings or like special events like that, bachelorette parties, those types of things. So this is a collaboration that I've talked about before on my channel, Haan Nike Air. These were a pair of Mary Jane women's shoes, size 11. See there how it has the C and the H, Haan, and it says Nike Air. I've always done really well with this collaboration. I've been selling this for years. It's not, you don't find it every day because it is more of a collab, but they do really well for me. I found these at a regular thrift store and they sold for $36. And this collab does do really well, but I will say I was listening to another reseller the other day. I forget who it was, but they said that Haan actually in general was doing better for them than they expected. So I normally don't really pick up Haan as itself. I just knew that the Nike Air collab would fetch a little bit more money. So do with that what do with that what you will. Is that the saying? Do with it what you will as far as that information goes. But I can tell you Haan and Nike Air for shoes has always done fairly well for me. And I will continue to pick that up. Now this is a brand I love to find. It's Eileen Fisher. This was a silk blend and it was only $4.99. I think because it does look so basic. This is oversized, it's slouchy, it's lag-in look, it's a basic piece, closet staple, you know, all of those different things, but it is a silk blend. So that absolutely elevated this Eileen Fisher to fetch a little bit more, because most basic Eileen Fisher, you're only going to get $20 to $30. This was a size small, but because it was silk, basic being like just a plain top, like I'm not talking like a dress or anything like that, but you know, this is pretty basic. But the silk definitely elevated this substantially. And then add in some of those keywords. It is oversized, boxy, slouchy, those things. And this sold for $36.27 pretty quickly. I was very happy with that sale. Now this dress I found at the same time as that Tucker Nuck dress. Like I said, it was about like 2 months ago, and I had a ton of dresses in that haul. I did really well that day with dresses. It's the brand Vley, Varley. Here's a tag for you. It was a Naples dress. It was an athletic dress, and I did put in the keywords athleisure and tennis. It also had recycled material, which you all know that I love a good material, or I just like to put it in the title or description because I do think certain consumers look for specific material content. So this was 88% recycled polyester. And here's the stock. It was just a super cute, pickleball, tennis, golf, athleisure, everyday dress. The brand did elevate this sale, Vley. And it sold for $32.74 fairly quickly. I would say to keep an eye out for that brand because the pieces are doing pretty well for me. Now, this is a fun sale because I remember finding this at the Goodwill bins. And yes, if you're new to my videos, I source in a million different ways. So I found this at the bins, which I love the bins for the low cost of goods. And I don't do a ton with Banana Republic, but my son's name is Mason. And because this was the Mason tapered pant, I decided to pick it up. And it did really well. It sold super quick, which is fun. Banana Republic, size 32-30, the Mason athletic chino pant. I put in the keyword preppy. This could be casual wear, a lunch date, office wear, definitely preppy. Here's some of the pictures. And the size. I follow JL Rowe. You guys know I'm so bad at remembering all of these people's names all the time. He does a lot in men's. R. Fisher. Ooh, J.R. Fisher. Okay. I will hopefully remember to put it in the comments. He says that the best men's sizes are between like 30 and 34. Maybe because that's the most common, or maybe that's the clientele that's buying on eBay. I don't know. But this is a great size, 32-30. He would tell me it was a good pickup as far as the size go. L. Rowe Fisher. That's who it is. L. Rowe, R-O-W-E Fisher. Woo, I remembered. So anyways, at the bins, this cost me maybe $1. My bins is $1.29 per pound. It sold for $26.97 pretty quickly. I would say in less than a month. So that is a great flip for me. Now, I have been doing more with Ralph Lauren, or any of the Ralph Lauren lines. This was 100% linen. That is perfect for the time period, spring and summer. And it was a size extra large. So that makes this a great layering piece as far as stackable reasons to pick it up. This lovely crochet knit that is super popular in this spring, summer time. All those reasons. This was in the tank top section, and it was $3.99, and I sold it for $30. Another really excellent flip. Stack those reasons. 100% linen. Linen is still doing pretty well in my closet, although I did hear a couple people in my comments say that linen hasn't been doing very well for them. Sometimes you just never know. It'll always be that way, I feel like. You just always never know. Sometimes things just don't make sense. Here's another brand that a lot of people do pass on, but I still do okay with. It's NYDJ, Not Your Daughter's Jeans. They were brand new with the tag Lift and Tuck size 16 straight leg jeans. I also found this at the bins, and I, again, stacked those reasons to pick it up. Brand new with tags, a great women's size of 16. The straight leg is popular with a certain clientele base. And these sold for $29.55. So again, it was probably $1 to $29. That is an excellent sale for me. I still do okay with this brand. I will still look at it and see if I feel like it's worth picking up based off of size, style, and of course, cost of goods price. But $1 to $29 as far as a sale goes, that's excellent. So I'm very happy with that. Here is a bread and butter brand for me. It's Torid. I sell a ton of Torid. A lot of the basic pieces are only going in the $15 to $20 range. Torid used to have a much higher selling price. However, this was a new with tags, and it was a dress, so that definitely made it more of a substantial piece. New with tags Torid size 0, which is a smaller Torid size, which is a large. Empire waist, floral knit dress. Super cute. I would wear this all day if it was my size. So I would say definitely if you are considering picking up Torid, stack the reasons to pick it up. The bigger size, the better. New with tags is always a plus. And look for more substantial pieces. Like your basic camis or tanks aren't going to get you more than $10 or $15. This new with tags Torid dress sold for $26.51. So, that's basically bread and butter for me at that point. Now this is another dress, all these dresses. Another brand I've mentioned here before many times, Knox Rose. It's not a $1 million brand, as I have mentioned before. You just have to stack the reasons to pick this item up, this brand up. I do fairly well with it. They have a lot of boho, hippie, bohemian, prairie, cottagecore, different, that style aesthetic a lot of times. This is a dress. It was a 2XL, which is great. It does have the tiered part of the dress, which adds a little bit of value. What would have made this maybe a little bit better of a sale if it was probably longer, honestly, more of a midi to maxi length dress, but this still sold. It's just Knox Rose, sold for $26.97. Now here's more of a wah sale. J. Jill used to be a brand I would pick up no matter what, and it's not anymore. And I found this at the bins. So the cost again was only $1. I thought it was just, very classy or classic, like an office wear type of dress. J. Jill Pont dress, size medium. It was a plaid dress with pockets. See, it said right on the tag there, J. Jill Pont, Ponte, which usually is more of like their business casual line of clothing. And this gives me business casual vibes all day. However, it did not sell for much. It sold for $14.40. So being that I got it at the bins, minus fees, I still made like $8 on it. And I only paid $1. So, it's not terrible. It's like 20% fees. So where would I be? About $3. Actually, I made about $10 off of this. So that's okay. I spent $1 and I made $10 in profit. I would say that's a lower end bread and butter for me. I'm not sure if I would pick up her J. Jill dresses unless it was at least a large or an extra large, just based off of that. Now I do a lot in plus size. It's always been my bread and butter. I've sold plus sizes for over 10 years. Catherine's is a brand that I do sometimes pick up. This was a size 4X sheer black mesh kimono. I also got this at the bin, so the cost of goods is very low. I thought it was like elegant, kind of classy. And since it was so lightweight, it probably cost me 50 cents. This is bread and butter for me all day at $19. Again, if you're estimating about 20% fees on eBay, it's a little less, but I always estimate high. You're talking about $4 in fees, 50 cents in cost of goods at the Goodwill outlet bins where I pay by the pound. You're looking at $14 profit off of an item you paid 50 cents for. And in my business model, that's good for me. That's a bread and butter item for me all day. And I am okay with that. And it's also okay if that doesn't fit in your business model. But for me, if I'm making $15 on an item, I feel like that's good, especially when you only pay 50 cents. Now, this is another J. Jill, a lower end, bread and butter. Again, I got this at the bins. It did have like a like a knit texture to it. So I put Lag and Look and boho, and I also put neutral. It's like a interesting taupe brown gray-ish color. Again, 50 cents, to $14.71. You're making about $10 there. It's not terrible. And if you're at the bins and with the low cost of goods and that works for you, I think because it was a small size and there just wasn't a whole lot going on, I don't think I would pick this up again, honestly. This is a super terrible stinker sale. It's at forever. And I don't know, I thought like this maybe the sequin, like I was thinking like club wear, like going out, girls' night, and it's at forever. This brand, Silence and Noise, I am not picking up anymore. It's an Urban Outfitters brand. I'm not picking this brand up anymore. I'm trying to think, is there something I would pick up? I don't know if it was super substantial and only a quarter, but for the most part, Silence and Noise is not a brand I'm picking up at all anymore. This was a sequin top. I just thought it was going to do better. I basically had to give it away. Like I was like begging someone to come buy this for me. You know, I tell you guys about my Nifty app and it automatically lowers items, the prices of items for me. And I do occasionally go in and just drop items that have been sitting so long. And I'm like, I just need this gone. I'm just putting this at like $7. That's usually my lucky number, 7 in some cases. So I just like, I lower it and try to get rid of it. Now this I only had for maybe a month. Another Torid sale, but these were really great shoes. They were a pair of loafers and a hard to find women's size 12 horse bit shoes with this little, horseshoe shape accent there. Now, shout out to my girls who have big feet like I do. It's hard to find size 12, and I believe I have one more bigger size shoe. Some people will argue with you and say that it takes them longer to sell because less of us have size 12 shoes. And in my experience, in all the years I've sold, anything 10 or above usually sells better for me. I will still pick up smaller sizes, especially at the bins when they only cost me $1.29, $2. But this sold quickly. Size 12, actually wide. Torid, the loafer style is in. I put in the style keywords: academia, grunge, gothic, executive, style loafer. And I think all of those do. This definitely gives me teacher vibes, academia, all of those things. So these sold for $25 plus shipping. Of course, on Poshmark, they pay for, it's nice to sell shoes on Poshmark because they pay for priority mail shipping up to £5. So that makes it easier to do. Now, this is one of those designer brands that if you find is probably a pickup, but it doesn't always mean it's going to sell for a lot. Reese, R-E-I-S-S. Men's button-down shirt. It was only a size small, and that's why I think it didn't do as well as it could have. R-E-I-S-S. This absolutely is a brand you want to keep an eye out for. Their pieces go for hundreds of dollars in a lot of cases. I just think this was a basic men's item that was in a small size, and that's why it only sold for $19. So plus minus there, something to keep in mind. Definitely a brand to keep an eye out for. Now, I was listening to another reseller the other day, and I have gotten a lot of mixed, you guys tell me, vibes about 511 Tactical. I've listened to other resellers who are not picking it up anymore. I listened to a reseller the other day who was super excited to find a ton of 511 Tactical for only like $1. I found this at the bins, so it was only like $1 for me. I still pick it up. If it's in good condition, it's a low cost of goods. I do still think there's a market for them. I think maybe the sell-through rate in some items has gone down, which just means it's going to sit for you a little bit longer. You know, run your comps for the particular item you have and decide for yourself. For only $1, these were women's 511 Tactical denim jeans, which of course isn't necessarily what they specialize in. But it sold for $18. So again, Poshmark is a 20% fee. That's $3.60 in fees, $1 for my cost of goods. You're at about $4 in fees, and I sold it for $18. So I'm making $14 in profit off of this item from the bins. And sometimes that's why the bins has its benefits. If you're okay with your bread and butter being in that range, this is still a fine sale for me. $14 in profit on an item I paid $1. I'm okay with that. I remember sharing this with you guys in a haul video. I've picked up this brand for a very long time. It's Eli Cattleman Pearl Snap button-down shirt. This is, again, a bread and butter for me. The more exciting the print, more bold, more colorful, the better it'll do for you. This is a very basic, classic Western cowboy, farm, equestrian, rodeo. Those are all the keywords I put in for this shirt. Eli Cattleman, size large is an okay size. This is just very classic. See how like it's got pearl snaps, the button pockets, and a couple of those just like details at the neckline, and that makes, I've sold this for years. It was only $15. I found it at the bins. It probably cost me 75 cents. Again, bread and butter. If you can find bolder prints, colors, Aztec, tribal, designs, patterns, that's where you'll make more of your money. Now, this was kind of a disappointing sale because Bowden, is a great brand, but this only sold for $12. Bowden, women's size 8, floral. It's like a fun floral print skirt. I don't do a ton with skirts all the time. This was just an okay sale. It sat for a long time. I got it at the bins. I don't know. This is the older Bowden tag. Maybe I just need to be more selective on my Bowden. In fact, I know I just picked up a Bowden dress. So I guess we'll see. Maybe I should put like a mediocre brand. I don't, maybe it was the style, maybe the colors. It's too bold. It is a bold print. I absolutely agree with that. Who am I agreeing with? Myself, apparently, because no one said anything. It's a bold print in my opinion. It's not more of like your classic closet staple, like your everyday wear. I feel like this is, a brighter piece. I agree with myself. Oh, goodness. Okay, here's the last sale. This was a Depop, the only Depop sale, which did great. $37. This is another large size. It's a women's size 13 Mary Jane pump. Now, this brand did elevate it. See this? It's Louise et C. I don't know. Maybe that's either French or Italian. Louise, Louise et C. C-I-E. I did notice when I ran the comps that brand was had some decent price point comps. So maybe a brand to keep an eye out for. I don't think I've ever sold this brand. I did love the style, the size, classic black Mary Jane pump. Every woman needs this type of shoe in her wardrobe, except for me because I don't do anything fun and all I have are flip-flops and sneakers. But I put in the keywords academia, gothic, witchy, vamp, and then also like it's business casual, executive, teacher vibes, for sure. So sometimes it's hard to know what way to go with some of these keywords because you could go either way. So great sale though, $37. I got these at the bins, so a great sale. All right, so that's it. That is $812 in sales for 1 week, which is lower than what I am used to. I do think it's part of the summer slowdown here, for me at least, but still some really great sales, some great style-based pickups, some brands to keep an eye out for, some other things thrown in there. Obviously, a couple of stinkers. I'm not sure about J. Jill. I would say in larger sizes, plus sizes for sure, and more substantial pieces. You have to stack the reasons to pick that up. J. Jill, in my opinion, whether that be material, size, style, newer tags, whatever it needs to be. But J. Jill, I am definitely slowing down on and passing on most of it, to be honest. Unless it has a couple stackable features there. So $812 for the week. And I'm still happy with that. Obviously some great sales. I am going to get to listing here. And you guys check in with me. How are you guys doing? How are your summer sales? How do you feel about any of these? What was your favorite piece? I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a sucker for a good vintage piece. When I can find vintage pieces, I just love them. I don't know. So that first denim dress, the full button down, long sleeve, vintage denim dress, I was just obsessed. I love that piece. Blessed that I got it at a random church sale that I did not barely even know anything about for $1. That is fantastic. A great sale and a great item. So there you have it. Definitely, I mentioned a couple of the other videos that I have done recently. Go back to those if you want to. And if you haven't already watched those, some great haul videos, a couple informative videos. So check those out and check in. I love y'all. I hope you guys are doing really well, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.